In the year 12 AD, a child was born in the heart of Rome. No one could have predicted that he would become one of the darkest figures in Roman history. His name was Caligula, reigning as the Emperor of Rome from 37 to 41 AD. This man was raised by psychopathic parents and grew up in a ruthless environment. The seeds for becoming a complete monster were already planted. His first strange behaviors emerged from an intoxication with power. He even forced everyone around him to shave their heads due to his complex about baldness. However, this was just the beginning of his reign of terror. He committed bizarre and frightening acts, like cutting off the heads of statues of gods from all over the country and attaching his own portrait to them. Remember, for more historical and mysterious events like this, subscribe to my channel. I will continue to bring you the most interesting and mysterious stories hidden in the dusty pages of history. When Caligula's madness reached a new level, he declared himself a god. His reign turned into a tyranny filled with prohibitions and orders. One of his most striking actions was, while expecting a child from his forbidden relationship with his sister, he opened her abdomen to take the fetus and declared this fetus a demigod. While his sister was on her deathbed, Caligula banned the Roman people from laughing, bathing, eating with their families, and speaking in the streets throughout the summer. He referred to himself with grand titles such as Father of the Homeland and Armies, Best and Greatest Ruler, Faithful Man. Interestingly, titles he invented himself. At that time, Roman emperors were seen as the most powerful and untouchable individuals in the world, and such power led someone with a weak character like Caligula to push the boundaries. Looking into Caligula's eyes was like signing your death warrant in Rome. He watched with great pleasure as his own engineers used torture devices to dislocate every bone of their still living victims. After draining the state treasury with reckless spending, he opened a large brothel, forcing the wives and daughters of Senate members and Roman elites to work there. On the opening day of this brothel, he shockingly declared and recklessly proclaimed his divinity by saying, "Look, Romans, see what gifts your God has brought you. Here I present to you the families of your senators." Caligula's distrust and hatred toward Senate members were reflected in his boundary-pushing decisions. He even seriously considered making his horse a senator and built a special palace for it. Caligula, who enjoyed mocking the senators, tried various ways to humiliate them. For example, while riding a horse, he would force some Senate members to run beside him for hours, sometimes stripping them and dressing them in women's clothing to dance. He found particularly fat senators amusing and preferred to use them in such displays. He went further by having some senators killed for no reason, then acting as if they were still alive by calling them to meetings. When they did not show up, he would spread rumors that they had committed suicide. This twisted and frightening governance style was merely a reflection of Caligula's madness and cruelty. Caligula's penchant for cruel entertainment also showed itself in the shows at the Roman arena. He took pleasure from the tragic scene of having sick, elderly, or physically disabled people fight in the arena instead of professional gladiators. Exotic animal fights, such as lions or elephants, were popular in Roman arenas. However, Caligula particularly enjoyed sending unfortunate spectators selected from the crowd to fight these animals. He personally selected these captives, thus displaying his ruthlessness and cold-bloodedness once more. Caligula's greatest fear was being forgotten in the pages of history and not being mentioned, since during his reign, unlike previous emperors, there had been no great disasters. For example, Emperor Augustus's reign was remembered for the defeat of Varus, and Emperor Tiberius's reign for the collapse of the theater in Fidenae. Therefore, Caligula desired a catastrophic event like a military defeat, plague, fire, or earthquake to etch his name into history. It is known that he envied gods and goddesses, even dressing as Aphrodite and collecting seashells from the beach as a military assault against Neptune. An example of Caligula's tyrannical leadership was his desire to execute a general named Precus. Unable to find a crime, he turned to Precus and said, You are an honest man, Precus. Therefore, you cannot be a true Roman. I am arresting you for treason." Using his own absurd reasoning to arrest him. One midnight, Caligula suddenly summoned 3 individuals who had previously served as consuls to his palace. When they arrived at the palace thinking they faced death, they were shocked to learn Caligula had invited them to dance with him forcibly. His cruelty and despotism had stirred deep hatred among the Roman people, leading to him being stoned multiple times. The streets of Rome had repeatedly turned into a bloodbath of riots and conflicts. The city faced a choice. Either Caligula would be destroyed, or he would destroy the Roman people. Caligula's sense of humor painted a twisted and dark picture. He mixed his own urine into the senators' meals, and after killing a person, brought the body to the dinner table, bursting into laughter at the reactions following this disgusting surprise. This was only a reflection of his sadism. Caligula, who ascended the throne after Tiberius, had shown his cruelty and fierce emotions even at a young age. He enjoyed watching executions, wore wigs and old clothes at night to sing and dance outside, and organized bizarre entertainments. Moreover, he forced those around him to cannibalism. Although Caligula's real name was Gaius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, he earned the nickname Caligula, meaning little boot, from wearing military gear in army camps at a young age. This nickname indicated how he was perceived among the soldiers. Over time, as Caligula's madness peaked, he brought his horse to the Senate and declared, "This is now your new consul," which was the last straw for the Senate's patience. In January of the year 41, after a sports event, he was ambushed by a group of guards in the tunnels and received over 30 stab wounds. Parts of his body were thrown to dogs, and the rest was buried in a shallow grave. After his death, the Senate tried to erase his memory and cleanse his name from Roman history by demolishing his statues and taking steps toward re-establishing the Republic. This was a turning point in Roman history. Historians and experts believe that various disorders, such as epilepsy and schizophrenia, may lie behind the perversions displayed by Caligula. The image you see on the screen is a drawing based on reconstructions from statues of Caligula, showing him with quite thick hair. This is a style of drawing carried out by painters and sculptors of the time to make Caligula look better due to their fear of him. However, remember, what I have described in this video is only a small part of what he did. Legal limitations do not allow us to tell more. Subscribe to my channel for more content and like this video. Enjoy watching.